I first got the script, and I thought it was outrageously good.
The depth with which the characters were written, how they popped off the page and all seemed so unique, the way the family kind of fit together in this functionally very dysfunctional way. We're all going to jail.
Because of the material, we just had actors kind of coming out of the woodwork saying, oh, I really want to be in this. And when that happens, you know you're onto something that the creative community is going to be excited about, and that's important to kind of getting the cast together that you want.
Weighing artistic content, exposure, the truth of the human soul, I would say it's the money.
The casting process was interesting. We had casting going in Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York. And we found actors from each location.
When we cast our British one, it was 65% newcomers, whereas here, the whole pool of talent is so much bigger. I was astounded by the scale of choice on each character.
The process was torturous initially for me because I felt that I was going to just limit my perception of who was good as to who was doing the best impression of the other incarnation of the character. That proved to not be the case. As soon as Steve Howie walked in, it was obvious he was Kev. As soon as Shinola walked in, of course that's Veronica. So it became very quickly a very liberating and very enjoyable experience.
What I love about the American casting is that there's no glamour. They're good looking, but they're no more glamorous than you'd expect them to be as people.
I auditioned 7 times for this part. But this is the only thing that I've ever seen, that I've ever read that brought me to life, that I was like, I gotta get this role.
I, you know, got this kind of gift from God out of nowhere. You know, I'm so grateful to come in and audition and, you know, be part of this.
I was so excited to have the opportunity just to audition, because to get something you can sink your teeth into and to talk how you talk without having to, like, change the words. You know, if you have to say profanity, you can use profanity.
How the fuck would I know how much he earned, you twisted dumb prick?
I'm not a dumb prick. I'm just gonna try to have fun, enjoy my job, but also keep in mind the truth. And if you're gonna try to tell the truth, there's nothing more honest than being naked.
It's definitely heavy stuff, some really crazy dialogue in some of the scenes. And then I started really looking at it, and I was amazed at the depth of the material.
I was reading for Ian and Lip at the time. So I would go in, and I was auditioning for both roles when I'd go in, and then finally they were like, all right, move you over to Lip.
I got the swine flu because swine flu was going around California. And I was at first not gonna go to the audition and just going in there with the scenes under the table and just completely letting them go.
We totally forgot about it because it was like about a month, and it usually takes them a couple days to respond. And then they called us up about a month later, and they said they want us to come down to LA for an audition.
I've never booked anything, and then I auditioned for Shameless, and I booked it. So that's how I became part of the cast.
I slept with John Levy and John Wells. You gotta do what you gotta do in Hollywood, man. You guys want honesty, right?
Always, Bill Macy was our first choice. John called up Bill and said, would you like to do this? And he read the script and he said, I'd love to do it. So that was the easy part.
I mean, I've known Bill Macy for 20+ years and saw him on stage in Chicago.
There's some degree of inebriation in everything I do. Sometimes more, sometimes less. That makes everything really fun. I mean, I have a poetical license to kill.
He's just a tremendous actor and a comedian, and is one of those actors who's able to do something that's comedic and yet keep it completely grounded in a real character.
We're all descendants of barbarians, and the sooner we face it, the sooner we'll have a civilization worth celebrating. So, hell no, I won't go, because no one scares Frank Gallagher. Oh, shit.
One of the pitfalls was a couple of times I At the end of the scene, I would say, that was really funny, drunk stuff I did. As I was getting in my car, I'd realize, ooh, I forgot to act the scene. So I have to remind myself every once in a while, think about what the scene's about.
If I were a single parent...
Wait, aren't you a single parent?
Yeah, but if I had a parent...
But if I had tits, Steve, they would double the money.
I gave the actors one kind of formal exercise. I asked them all to come in the next day with a little story about their character, just anything that they would just tell to the group during the day. And towards the end of the day, Bill, he morphed immediately into Frank and told the story, and he looked across the armchair at Emmy. This guy looked into his daughter's eyes with love and sincerity and told her the story of how he got drunk but really wanted to be there but then couldn't find his way. And it was just, it was so Frank, and how he'd eventually got there and run in just as the mother was crowning and realized he was actually in the wrong delivery room, so had to go out again and eventually found the right room and held her in his arms and switched, and it was just absolutely hilarious and just had all of us rolling in fits. And at the end of it, a tear came into his eye, and he just talked about when he eventually did, 2 or 3 days later, managed to actually be sober and awake and holding her in his arms. And it was just completely heartbreaking. And this guy just came up with that story out of nowhere. From a rehearsal point of view, it just said to every actor in that room, the bar is pretty damn high, you know, it really is.
My mom was a bit of a drinker, and I never thought I'd get to imitate some of the stuff she did, but she's held me in good stead. Thanks, Mom.
That's what you need. You need people laughing. You need people drinking. Anything, so long as it's not 6 kids that you didn't want in the first place. So screw them all and just get used to it.
Only once in this season did I say, are we crossing a line here?
Oh, God!
Is this offense that Frank does, is it one that cannot be forgiven? I think that's going to be an important question. How far can they push Frank's rascaliness without crossing the line? On the other hand, it's deliciously funny to ride that line, to keep pushing it right to the edge.
Oh, fuck, Frank. Another TV?
Fiona has such a weight as the kind of moral compass and the anchor of the family, and to give gravitas to the show so that it doesn't just become crazy, you know, slapstick energy, and trying to find the actor who could do that effortlessly and also with the same sense of youthful zest was just not hell, but it was getting to the point where I was getting genuinely worried.
We were lucky that Emmy Rossum was living in New York City at the time and put herself on tape with our casting directors there.
I read the script and really liked the kind of warm vibe that I got from this really weird family, and really loved the fierceness and the rawness of the character, and how young and vulnerable but tough and mature she appears at the same time.
Her agent called me and said, you know, she would really love to try for this, and I thought of her as being this very glamorous character. And I said, well, you know, she would have to be willing to come in and just be, you know, kind of completely natural and scrubbed, and she said she would love nothing better.
And so I really had to go in and kind of prove myself that I could find Fiona within myself, and there was just something organic that happened when I kind of married myself to the material and found it, and I prayed that they would see it, and I guess they did. Clean clothes, top of the dryer. Don't ever hit one of my kids again.
Your kids are my...
Never again. You can see that she's rebelling and she wants a real young life where she gets to go out and have fun and have sex and be nutty and moon people in the street and be crazy. But also when she comes home, she's really the adult and the parent, even to her own parents.
Emmy Rossum and I have developed this great relationship, and it's sort of we're the parents of the cast. There are a lot of young folks in this, and I feel paternal toward them, and I think she feels maternal toward them.
I'm an only child, as actually a lot of the kids are on this show, in reality, so it's exciting for me because I never knew that I had anything maternal in me. I always wondered, like, oh God, maybe I don't. And then I got on the set with these kids, and it comes so naturally, and it's so organic that all of us bond together.
Somebody's gonna take Liam.
I got a calculus test. I'm working after school.
Show and tell?
Show him the birthmark on his back. It looks like Latvia.
You know, chemistry is something you can't kind of legislate for. You can try, try and cast nice people or people you think will be gregarious and, welcome into the other cast. But beyond that, you're in the lap of the gods, really.
They called me and asked me about Emmy, who I did this live-action manga with. And I was like, I don't. Well, sure, but I'm not gonna have any chemistry with her.
Almost!
Little did I know.
I think it's really hard to fake love and to fake a real bond. So we were really encouraged to spend time with each other before we started shooting off camera.
Mark Mylod, he was very cagey in the way he tried to accelerate the family coalescing into a unit.
My idea of the rehearsal was exactly the same as in the UK series, which was that the cast would come in and spend a little bit of time in their respective bedrooms and decorate them as they saw fit, and then they would basically hang together, and we'd sit in the front room of the Gallaghers and tell stories, and we'd play Guitar Hero, particularly rousing rendition of Living on a Prayer.
When we came to shoot the pilot, there was no craft services out there. If you wanted something, you went to the kitchen. There was a big sign in there, clean up after yourself.
They said, make yourself at home. If you want a sandwich, go make it in the kitchen.
And at lunchtime when they called break, in our first rehearsal week before we even started shooting, they'd say like, okay, Emmy, here's the knife. Like, Ethan and Emma, this one's allergic to peanuts and this one doesn't like cheese on her sandwich, and okay, go. And their moms were somewhere else, and I, who have never had any siblings and don't have any kids, was like, oh my God, who's allergic to peanuts?
We have to, obviously act like siblings and everything and not feel uncomfortable to act a certain way because it might look wrong, it might turn out amazing, it might turn out bad, but you can't feel uncomfortable doing it.
And naturally, each one of us are very rowdy. We're a really rowdy bunch. But when you put us together, we get really crazy. And that's exactly what he wanted. So he had us, before we ever started filming, we went, to an arcade, we played miniature golf.
No assignment, just go play golf. Go have fun. What is this? What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to be Frank? I don't get the assignment. So we're playing miniature golf, and Emma, who plays Debbie, was in front of me. I'm waiting my turn, and she hit it too hard and it bounced off the thing out of the... So she gets the ball, puts it back, and tries again. She blows it again, third time. I finally went, okay, you're done. And I pushed her aside and played through. And I thought, that's Frank.
Want to snort the next batch?
Yeah. We played, and I got the money, and I got to pay for everyone's mini golf. So it really did feel like I was the mother to these 5 other kids, including this 2-year-old, of which, in reality, there are 2 of them.
By the end of that week, by the time we were shooting, they were just hanging out and in each other's business and, mocking each other in a playful way. It was just the most fantastic bonding experience. I don't think we rehearsed a single scene.
Everybody was just dead set on getting along and being happy and making sure that if we were gonna be stuck in this long term, which we all really wanted, that we were gonna love each other all the way through it.
We fight, we laugh, we drink, we have fun off set.
We actually hang out and have dinners and, all of those things outside of work where we really get each other and love each other.
We're here together all day. There's really no privacy, which is great because in the Gallagher family, there really is no privacy whatsoever.
I think because there is such affection and a lovely kind of fraternity with the actors, there is a support network of trust around the actors, which grew very quickly and grows stronger with each episode.
What's the worst of it? So what we'll do is we'll just... And that's about...
And that, when we do need to go to those darker places, we know that we can find our way back from them.
One of the things that's so great about this show is that when I think of each of the kids and their through lines and the family dynamic, the sky's the limit as to where this thing would go. I don't think we're going to be looking for stories. I think we could run this thing for 12 years. It's only going to run 8 or 10, but there are a lot of stories we could tell.
Fucking Gallaghers. Fucking Gallaghers!